as of today, there aren't any jurisdictions where you can represent the deed of a property in the form of an NFT. But the day that happens, then all deeds will be represented by an NFT.
And I have zero question in my mind that's where it goes. Gabriel is a business development associate at DigiShares. He left the investment banking world to take part in this disruptive era we're in with blockchain and everything that it's doing to real estate. So basically the whole reason why we're having these kind of conversations, like that's why he just decided to leave his old life, jump into this full, head first. How you doing, Gabriel?
I'm great, Chris. How are you?
Good. So, I follow y'all's newsletters and, I see our many different events. So how are you seeing, especially maybe since we had that last conversation, NFTs are going to be impacting real estate?
Yeah. So many people come to us with that term in mind. And generally, we actually try to steer people more towards the security token term. And I think that's probably what Sam was also meaning by token.
And is that because NFT has the stigma of it's just this weird animal smoking a cigar?
So that's part of it. But there is also a very precise reason as well. It's because for a security to be compliant, it has to be fungible. Mm-hmm. You have to be able to burn and reissue it. That's the regulation says that. Now, theoretically, not theoretically, in practice, you could have an NFT, a legal entity that is tokenized via an NFT, and then an NFT that would be fractionalized using security tokens. That could work, but as you may see, that NFT layer is not really useful. So my point being, for real estate, the best way forward is to use security token standards. So the NFT standard for Ethereum, for example, is ERC 721. Well, there are others for security tokens, like ERC 1400 or ERC 1404. And those have the embedded compliance aspects that will make that security compliant with the laws and regulations.
So these securities is there any one particular cryptocurrency that you're seeing them mainly minted on, or like any particular blockchain? I know Ethereum is one of the, I guess, most prominent ones, but they're not the only one that has the ability to create smart contracts, which in a sense that's what an NFT is. It has the ability to have a smart contract, which can have, varying layers of utility or representations.
Definitely. So what we're seeing is mainly Ethereum or Ethereum layer 2s, like Polygon, because of the much lower gas fees. So those we're seeing a lot of interest for those blockchains. Now, something that I would also like to talk about for the future with regards to NFTs, which is very interesting, is as of today, there aren't any jurisdictions where you can represent the deed of a property in the form of an NFT. But the day that happens, then all deeds will be represented by an NFT, and
I have zero question in my mind that's where it goes. Now, because you're dealing with government, it may be a little bit challenging, but it's writings on the wall.
Maybe slow to adopt probably, but once you have that NFT, which is minted by the local government agency that is in charge of the register with all the deeds, and that the NFT is pointing towards an official document, and you have that,
and really that's safer. And this is something that I'm sure Sam's got a lot of experience too, because he being dealing in data. So on the blockchain, I mean, versus a centralized server, that if there is a point of failure, whether the building burns down or it's hacked or somehow destroyed, whereas on the blockchain, it's verifiable by multiple different sources, different computers, and it's decentralized. So it's actually a safer mode of or method of storing the data, and it's 100% verifiable.
Definitely. But I can tell you that there are a group of people that are not going to be happy, and it's notaries, because then you wouldn't need, everything would be on chain. You wouldn't need a human to kind of verify a transaction.
Yes, I've had that thought, and I know someone who does. She owns a large national virtual notary company. I haven't dove too much into it. Then, like a lot of this stuff, we say it gets rid of the middleman, but really it evolves, and the middleman always finds a way to create a service layer. So whether it gets rid of notaries or it creates some other type of service verification layer that notaries evolve into, who knows? So where are you seeing most investors? Are you seeing them securitizing the individual asset, so fractionalizing an asset, or so making tokens out of the individual asset, or tokenizing the security, the financial part of it?
Yeah, so in any case, you have to go through a legal entity. So what we're seeing is there are mainly two states that are in the forefront of the blockchain legislation in the US, and those are the states of Wyoming and Delaware. And the laws there say that you can represent the shares of a legal entity in a dematerialized form on the blockchain. So you're seeing like LLCs in those states being set up, and then they own properties.
And that's happened. Like that's going on.
Yeah, it's happened.
I've seen Florida has hit the radar where recently, I believe that, we've had properties sold, but it was basically the company.
Exactly. So it has to go through that legal entity. But again, if one day the deed can be directly represented by an NFT, then maybe we won't have to go through that anymore. But for now, you do. And so you have that, and then the LLC is tokenized using security token standards, so on Ethereum or Polygon, for example, and fractionalized that way.
Love it. Very so if you're not on DigiShares newsletter, like get on their newsletter. They've got a lot of great content. So, and then Gabriel, you may really enjoy we've got someone who owns a title company on the show later on, so you may enjoy that conversation. But appreciate it. Look forward to connecting with you again soon.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. Appreciate it.